So I thought I'd come on here today and you ever have one of them stressful things and you realize wow, a moment of wow. That being said, I want to say that I made a mistake, and I'm saying this because people also don't know what YouTube can do. In regards to expressing my mental health and expressing things that were going on and trying to figure it out, I failed to remember that years ago I was told and taught when I would say the world, when I'd affect the world, I was doing that. That being said, I had a moment of clarity in regards to how and things can be and have been from my acknowledgement and my experience. Some people that have jobs to do to feed their families, they are just as normal as me and you. Now, some of them people, if they ever watch this, they'd be like, I ain't fucking nothing like that, right? We know, right? That being said, what I did was I was able to realize, narrow down options in regards to what the cause was, or the answers I'll never get. The part that's hard is when you get so not like why, you know what I'm saying? Like when it gets to that, you actually start questioning your ability of deciphering what reality is. Now, for my situation, I've just been around somebody for so many years that that definitely was already in play or in effect. Because that's not real, in regards to faithfulness. So, in my situation, I can see how I affected the world and why I did it, and it wasn't intentional in the way that it was taken. And I say that because I'm going to sum it up real quick, and I'm not going to ramble. So it started shaking, rocking. That being said, today I went and I reported with my probation officer, and we've already discussed this with my probation officer before. Keep in mind, I do have paperwork released for my service dog. Okay. I assumed that taking a puppy in a contained crate, like the contained crate, was going to be a best option instead of leaving him here, him in the heat, whatever, alone. My PO, I could already tell, was already upset, whatever, because, and I have my opinion. I'm not going to give it this time because I did factfully today make a concern to a commissioner of Lake County that is a representative. I'm going to leave his name out, but I did let him know that what the history was and what just occurred. Now, for me to not be aware of something that's not on a wall, not and the issues I'm going through, whatever, even maybe a little compassion or even insight to why that's going on, but me having a puppy in the crate was a no-no. I did get a community ride or whatever, they have funds or whatever, so I did not drive. I did not, and that being said, it was instantly, we can't have a puppy in here or whatever. So next, and I thought she was telling me to start off with that for the future or whatever, don't have it happen. Knowing that I just traveled, a 2-hour drive one fucking way, and knowing that there really wasn't no urgency to have me report or anything. There was, in the time being moved up, knowing that this last visit I just had in Christmas Valley, that's the first time that I've had a visit with my PO in Christmas Valley for over a year since I was told that I could not report there. For a full solid year, I've been compliance, doing everything that I am, and my next appointment was set for here. She moved it up, and I had to go report it in Lakeview. That being said, I could tell, or I was taking, and I wasn't trying to make it personal, that she's obviously either in a bad mood, or she's not meaning to come across the way that I'm taking it. So that being said, the intensity picked up, the tone of the language picked up, and I was not saying anything because it was wind out her mouth the whole time she opened up that door. I stood up, not with an attitude, not nothing. I was intending to take the puppy in the crate and go down the hall and ask somebody at the tax department or whatever, hey, do you mind if this puppy just chills here, right here? Or I was going to take it outside. When I stood up, it was an instant like, hey, so what do you do? I don't need this attitude from you. I ain't saying shit. I ain't, I'm literally stood up and reached over to grab the crate off the ground. That being said, she started asking me, well, where's your car at? I didn't drive. I'm being very, very short, answering productive what she's answered because at this point it's intense. And I'm trying not to fucking yell back or give her the attitude and I'm not. So the answers I'm answering quick. I got to ride. Where they at? And I had to think about it. And the lady just so happened to tell me she was going to the Dollar General. So that being said, and luckily I had the answer for that one when I answered. That being said, didn't even have the time to sit back down. By the time those questions were coming at me. So I got asked something else again, and then I sat down because that was like a directive of do it, and so I did it. She said, I'll be right back, and went and shut the door with nothing but just an attitude and shut the door. I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm going to jail. What the fuck did I just do wrong? That being said, I was shaken. I was trying my best to not just walk out the door and then also trying to understand what the fuck is going on here. Just a puppy, dude. It's just a little puppy. Don't you understand what's going on with the dog and situation? No, and then that turned into where I'm being disrespected, and I started having a hard time actually breathing, and the adrenaline was flowing a lot. So I grabbed the phone, jumped on the phone, and called my therapist's office. The therapist called me. So, yeah, I got on the phone, called for the therapy. They checked, then they transferred me. I was checking in. Okay, when they got transferred, there's like a sliding window that you check in with like the secretary, but this is like one hall, the whole hall. You're in a courthouse. Okay, to give you a visual what this is. You have a sheriff's like office directly in this little door hall thing, and you have the probation office, all of it. There's cameras in the hall. It's right there, like in the jail's upstairs, but they have a sheriff. The little secretary for the sheriff is different from the probation office. Obviously, in a public area, they can be seen, or even the cameras reviewed. Okay. That being said, I needed it. I didn't know it, and I was fine. I was not okay. By the time my therapist was answering the phone, my PO slid the window open, which I wasn't. She went in this side, shut the door, said she'd be back. I didn't know what the hell was going on. This window slides open while my therapist is getting connected with me. My PO, when she slid the window open, she didn't realize I was on the phone. So that being said, she just instantly and you can hear the tone or whatever. Now picture this. Okay, I'm sitting, not right next to it. But when a window slider goes sliding, that's the fucking, okay. That was the first thing. While that's sliding, she's already running out her mouth. Instantly, okay. So, and my fault. I didn't realize she was going to be so fucking quick. I happened to be on the phone with my fucking therapist. Okay. She's, boom. Then she realizes I'm on the phone. because Haley's or my therapist is introducing herself. Then my PO like catches herself, and I asked her. I said, "You want me to hang up?" And then she just like locked eyes with me and didn't say nothing, just like staring me down. And I was like, "Why are you looking at me like that?" And then she goes, I said, "Do you want?" And then right when I was saying that, Haley heard my therapist heard my reaction, because bottom line, there was no need for her to look at me like that. And then right behind her, her supervisor was sitting. Okay. I'm thinking, professional wise, this guy's going to intervene with his employee, because at this point I ask her, "Can you please not yell at me?" Then my therapist is overstepping me because she can tell I'm getting upset. I already done asked my PO if she wanted me to hang up. She never answered me, just fucking look. Okay. That being said, I listened to my therapist, and I hung up, and I went to go look up. As soon as I went to go look up, her body was out, her upper body with her arm at this point is out of the window. There's a shelf right on the outside of the window. Coming at, like, closer at me, to where she needs to point the fucking finger closer to me and raise her voice to where I say, "Can you please stop?" And I asked her 3 times. And I even said, "This is triggering me, will you stop?" And then by that time, when I almost had to yell it the last time. I looked at her supervisor behind him as he's just fucking eating the peanuts, watching the show. So then fucking, I didn't know what else to do. I knelt down, and I just tried to, and then she wanted me to be attentive to her. And what she was trying to do was give me a action report piece of paper that was already filled out. And she didn't even accept she didn't, at this time, she hasn't even asked me for my check-in paperwork. Like when you go to check in with the PO, you give them paperwork that gives you like updates or whatever the fuck, okay? They need those every month when you do it. At this point, she hasn't even asked for that. So that being said, I knelt down on crouched down, plugged both of my ears and then I let go, put my hands, and I got very stern, because at that point I was grounding myself with my hands on the ground, and I led, "Will you not yell at me?" And that being said, yeah, it was probably heard through the whole fucking courthouse, the whole building probably. At that point, I don't need to make eye contact with somebody. I need, you know what I'm saying? That's not mandatory. That's not something, and if you as a probation officer or whatever don't understand that, even bottom line, even with PTA, and the acknowledgement is there. Now, I'm not going to get into my opinion on what's happening, but that being said, it was to the point where I got and it was I was okay to go. Told when to report again. Then that being said, the supervisor comes up and advises me that my attitude, whatever, that you're just one slip away. One slip away. You're a 0 tolerance case. Okay, well, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? But his voice at first was stern and kind of and I was like, "Can you please just not yell at me?" When he actually heard me, and he lowered him, and I think that he understood that he has the right to back his employees or whatever. But this is twice now that it's been accused or to where he's under the impression that I was aggressive with the fucking PO. There was no aggression whatsoever on my end. None. Until when I put my hands on the ground and made it very sternly, because that's what my PO said, that after I asked her not to yell at me. "I'm not yelling at you. I'm being very stern and clear." Okay, but yeah, she's escalating it. That being said, she's seeing that her escalation is causing... If she can't see that, she don't need to be holding a fucking gun. Straight up. Now, me saying this is going to be causing issues. The other thing is that I realized that when I went into the world and affected the world, that things through whatever can be reported, whatever, and maybe they just got irritated with the whatever that I'm not supposed to know, right? There's a big possibility of that. But to the point to know where I'm under the impression of what my sentence is or whatever, knowing that I've even been told that I had 3 years extra, that the fact that I charged, I went and filed a charge that they almost didn't want to take. In the state of Oregon, under ORS code, whatever it is, crime of coercion, under section H. That was last year when I got arrested and got my probation violation. Last June. The department, I don't think, has done anything with that in regards to the Lake County Sheriff's Department. Because they think it's probably a joke. But the fact is, when you file a charge against somebody, it doesn't matter what their job is. You're supposed to do what you need to do is in your job, not because you know somebody. So what I requested was coercion against my PO, Lily Frank, and her supervisor, Jake Greer. At the point of him being a supervisor and oversees all, and he was the one that put me in cuffs, that's where my rights were proven to be violated after the threat. We are already in an open, the civil litigation advisement was advised last June in regards to the case of the probation violation and the violations, and it was up to things to go more appropriate while the civil litigation is on hold. We're almost, last June, we're almost a year. For it to be brought up zero tolerance case, I have no fucking idea what he's talking about, whatever. But I was so worked up to where I couldn't even leave the area of the probation because I didn't want to walk out there and be embarrassed by whoever was outside the court or whatever. I was shaking that bad. I was still able to, and I'm proud of myself to be able to acknowledge that through that I noticed that Mr. Greer did lower his voice. He wasn't causing, he was, first he was probably just defending his employer, trying to, because maybe he didn't get the accurate information. He did hear voices, but it wasn't me. Knowing that those cameras there, they won't replay them, they won't whatever. But I am not going to be, I'm going to try my best to not utilize this skill anymore, because what I realized was that it is public, and whether or not some people want to think I'm crazy or not, that if people can always change their mind, people can whatever, but then it's public, so I don't know what else to say besides that, and I'm not going to get anything else. I'm just going to say that I am a little concerned in regards to my situation of not being able to process things or whatever when I'm not able to have somebody or whatever, or therapy ain't tomorrow or whatever. There's you can always hold off, but it's been better to be able to have it for me, because the fact is that when you have to get quiet, it's not real. It's not real. This is my this is my binky, basically. Like, this is a fucking bitch way to say it, but yeah, it's my binky. And at this point, I don't know if I'm ready to get rid of the binky out of my mouth, because at least I'm reassured that I'm not seeing shit that's not there, and hearing shit that's not there. So I'm a little nervous about that, but at the same time, it's something that has to be done, because if I don't, then it's going to end up just being more pressure from people that are whatever through agency, because there's always a hierarchy, and whether you think that you just work for the county, and I'm not going to waste my time to try to figure out why my PO was that way, and why it was such a problem for me to just even try to bring the dog out, and even if I did, and why it was that I needed to have an answer of where my ride was at right then, and then stop the issue from being fixed that was alarmed and arose to, which was a puppy in the probation office in a container. So the problem was never resolved, besides what? So not even 40, just a piece of paper that was already filled out made me go all the way down there for that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. But that being said, the issue never arose. So if I was a criminal thinking all that bullshit, holy shit, is that what it takes to be able to only see your PO for fucking 3 minutes? I'm doing that next week. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. So even the knowing the supervisor seen that, knowing that I'm confused about that, but I'm definitely not going to take time to be able to fucking try to make logic of it, because it was a waste of my time. Like, this has gone on way too long with that department and their acknowledgement of what they're supposed to do or as their job duty or what they can do. And just because another agency may be not jumping a gun or jumping to what you want them to do, throwing a fit and taking it out on the client. Or even if, see what I'm talking about? There's because everything else is going on, there's too much shit to be able to bubble it down. But bottom line, I did, when I left reading the probation officer, I did go to the commissioner's office and I spoke with the commissioner. I filed an advisement of letting him know that this is what is going on, and I explained to him how the taxpayer and how this, because to let him know this is a serious issue. It's not like the taxpayer's not going to be able to, and the taxpayer shouldn't be the ones being punished, because technically what happens is when you file that, the money that gets awarded through a settlement gets allotted through the budget. When the budget report comes out, the budget report only says how much money went for what. So if somebody settles out because of whatever reason, and that budget goes in, yeah, you get the money, you get the whatever. But let's just say, for instance, if you settle out of court for a $3.5 million deal, $500,000 every 6 months, or however it's worked out, the county taxpayers see it, and they won't recognize it until later. Well, that later time comes, and then they find out that something happened to where they should have been advised at the beginning, because if that was going on in their community, and if they were aware that that type of stuff had been going on and don't agree with it, maybe they would have changed their vote. Maybe they would have, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the people that are in control, whether or not it's a supervisor or an officer or not, it is your elected officials, period. Your sheriff is, okay, your commissioner is why is it that I'm going to the commissioner? And if you have that question, maybe ask yourself, who oversees your local parole and probation department for your county in your state? That's maybe where to start if you're curious about that. So talking to him or whatever, it made me feel like that was my closure for that right there. And then I got home and realized that I need to do this video because I have to prevent myself in this, because it does bother me, because why? You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to just flex your shit, whatever it is, because you're mad about a puppy, or you're mad about I stood up, or you're mad because I was going to actually start helping you not be coming, and we're going to just go ahead and put the puppy outside. I won't understand that. But actually, do I feel disrespected? Fuck yeah. Do I feel like I was treated equal? Fuck no. Do I feel that even if I did have a disability or whatever, or even if my PO did or did not know that I have a disability or I'm in mental health or even know the situation, was there any adjustment or even acknowledgement or even, no, not at all. The only adjustment that was done was to affect and hinder the issue of what was at hand. The issue at hand and the problem was a puppy in a crate in the probation office. It's not supposed to happen, that I was unaware of, and I was being advised right then that it does not happen. Me leaving to get the puppy outside. It's sad. It's really fucked up. But at the same time, these motherfuckers are growing them gray hairs. You know what I'm saying? They're getting there. And I'm really actually, being alone and shit like that. It's just I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do, because at this point, it's only my therapy. My therapist is keeping me fucking. And that's a fact.